Okay, you're asleep. You're awake. You could start eating. Shit. Okay, fine. Whatever. Here. Little drive. Little drive. 2, 1. And Phoenix Buddy is caught in the entranceway. Get out of there! That's why I was concerned. I hope I didn't lose it. I think I did lose Phoenix Buddy for that. That hurts. That's why I always get nutty about the animals being at the entranceway there. Because then they could just flicker out of existence. Cry. 26,000 points. We got this. Get fucked, Omachao. I'm gonna be somewhat dependent on ring bonus to help me with this one. Fuck you! You. These bomber robots are effectively your friends. Because by default, you'll get at least a 4 combo on them if you lock onto all their bombs. That area over there is also going to be a boon to you. If you can hit all the enemies over there. Fuck. Did I hit the enemy up there? No, I didn't. Okay, perfect on this. There we go. That should be enough. It is. Progress! It tastes so good. Wanted to ring Prison Lane. Now, this one could be a bit rough because there aren't great opportunities to find rings. And not to mention, because the high saturation of enemies, you're gonna need to play a little bit carefully in order to keep the ones that you've got and use your checkpoints to help you. We can kind of make it up. This is a freebie area. I believe this area up here has rings. There we go. Hopefully that was enough. B, 2 minutes 30? Okay, 2 minutes 30. How do I go faster? I never understand that. Why is it that you can't lock onto that enemy from that one, but you can lock onto it from the other one? It just feels very needlessly specific with the laser, if that makes sense. But we do have a route, at least, so that's good. Just gonna need to really book it. I also didn't notice that item container there for the past several rounds, so that might be the make or break that we're looking for. Because if I'm good about this, I can get to the 60. I got plushies attacking me. I can hit 60, double back, bump to 80. Easy. Okay, mission 3. The Lost Chow in this stage is in an odd location. We're gonna need to get about halfway through the stage, a little bit further. Gonna get Chinese? Alright, enjoy Chinese. See you in a bit, Laika. If I remember her, it's here. Right over here is a shrine with a spring. And if you take care of the bots in this upper area here, the Chow is right there. You do get a bit of leeway on this one, fortunately. I believe the time limit is 2 minutes. Yep, it is. 3 minutes, 26,000 points for the next one. Okay. Good. And because we don't have checkpoints to help us with the score, with getting ring score, ow! We're gonna need to be especially careful. And rack up as high a kill count as possible. Well, highest string of kills, rather. Taking this upper path is especially important. Because we can hit some of the enemies on that extra path. Gold Beetle, definitely important. So's the cheap seats out there. Hopefully that's enough. Just need 26,000, and that is it. Perfect. And hard mode of the stage. Same score goal. But instead of the usual tactics that you see with these stages, some of Tails' stages, and Eggman's too, know that it's stringing together kills is how you get a lot of your points. So rather than introduce more enemies, sometimes they will instead try to starve you. Less enemies to hit, in theory, means less opportunities for points. And by less opportunity, and if you have less opportunities for points, then theoretically, you should be able to get less points overall. Here's the thing. They still introduce more enemies into the stage, so, their efforts to try to starve you kind of go to the wayside at times. Although, having more enemies to deal with that can shoot at you is kind of... yeah, that takes care of it for you. Double seriously? I hit the jump button. I ain't no jump. Yeah. Good. Juice in the middle right there. Not a bad way to checkpoint that, but it also gives more points, so... Alright. It's 9. That was close. Had to let go of the button before it expired. I'm hoping the extra 200 points there will make a difference. We are very low in health, but it might have been worth it. Oh yeah. Why is this so easy? Like, comparatively, I feel like for Tails and Eggman, I'm gonna have much fewer cuts to do.
Yep.
Is the 5 rings worth it? We'll find out shortly. No, because I fell into the quicksand. Shit. I didn't even know that gold beetle was there prior to just now, actually. Mostly because I never take that side route. Or at least I never think to. Fucking, again, how many jump inputs am I gonna get eaten? I believe down here should be more rings. And there weren't any rings hidden in the labyrinth up until the end. To which, I think I messed this up. Because you want to get the checkpoint first. I don't know if I talked about it, but the rewards you get from checkpoints are very dependent on the number of rings that you have when you pass through that checkpoint. So if you have 20 to 39 rings, you get 5 extra. If you have 40 to 59, then you get 10 extra. 60 to 80, 20 extra. 80 to 90, I believe you just get a speed up, which that's very not helpful in most cases. Anywhere past 100 rings, and you get a barrier. Actually, no, wait, it might have been like 90 to 100 is a barrier, and then past 100 is a 1-up? I don't fully remember. Regardless of the matter. You want to for the 100 rings missions, because you get checkpoints to work with, ideally, you want to pass through a checkpoint with 60 to 70 rings. Fuck. Just so you can get that 80 and clear a large gap immediately. Checkpoints are your friends for more reasons than you think. Don't get squished by that, because that will actually hurt you. Killing these enemies isn't necessarily mandatory, but it helps just to prevent you from taking unnecessary damage. And if you're very good with that jump, then it is possible to get on top of that. I've only done it once. It's a very specific jump. Okay, 80. And 100. Do we get an extra stream if you do the contour code on you? Ha! Many people have asked and tried. That's up to interpretation. Also, hello, how you doing? Surprisingly, this shirt is a bit of a relic. The original rack model that I was using by Radical Norm had a crop top with a similar pattern on it. And I happened to like the design, so I figure, hey, you know what, let's adapt it. Or at least that was the notes that I gave Attic when she made it. Well, this one, I mean. Highly recommend. Well, if you're in the market for a low poly model, rather. Though, on the other side of the coin, because of university and everything, I think she did announce recently that she's having to slow down the amount of commissions that she's taking because it's currently way too goddamn many. She likes the commission work, but at the same rate, it's put too much stress on her, and she's the type of person where if she's unable to complete tasks, then it weighs on her mind something heavy. Huzzah! That's what I've been trying to do. A little skip. Not many people know about that one. Here. I thought I was being originally using a 30-year-old reference. I get something to get client. Mm-hmm. That is, unfortunately, the problems of working solo, especially for commission work. What's also really not helped, I keep forgetting that I need to stop doing that for the Chow missions. We can afford it, because it just asks for clear time, not points. What's also not helping is that she also has personal projects that she's been wanting to do too. Like stories with her character and everything, maybe a game. She's unsure on that one. But in order to actually work on it, she needs to have the time to work on it and also complete university. Massive time commitment and not a lot of time to commit is a deadly combo. I know that all too well, given I'm working on my own writing. And it's difficult to split myself between the stress of my work and also sitting down to write. Especially if I have the entire story in my head already. Right side, halfway through it, but even still, wow. Hey again. I think the timer in this one was like 2 minutes 30, 2 minutes 45. Not hard. You just need to remember where the Chow is. 12,000 points. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, that's doable. Wah! Thanks for helping Vectex set up shop in Synapse. Much appreciated. Enjoy your adorable emotes. Most of which I made because I'm not a great artist. There aren't too many sources of points in this area. And for whatever reason, the spiky dervish guys aren't like the gun bombers. In that, yes, you can lock onto the individual spikes, but they do not increase the count for whatever reason. I don't know why. Sit! Way more intense than you expected? You think that's intense. When you get the opportunity, try one of the higher value redeems. We go full on cutscene mode and everything. Maybe I should go out of my way for that gold beetle on this stage, just in case. Especially if that happens. Wow. No, actually. We're trying to hit up the... Ideally, this is just supposed to be a 100%, because I've never done it. In essence, get all 180 some odd emblems. And in order to do that, you gotta be able to get an A rank on every single mission. Some of these missions I've never done before. So rather than a speed run, this is more like a first time 100%. And while this particular mission does have a timer on it, I found out the hard way, and the easy way, that the timer is practically superfluous. Yeah, they flash up a timer on screen and say, hey, complete the stage within this time limit, but the letter ranking isn't necessarily based on your timed completion, so much as an arbitrary score value. Which is stupid. So yes, the challenge of this mission is, hey, get to the goal within 3 minutes 30. But in order to get the A rank, you need to be able to do that and also hit like 12 to 16,000 points. Which is kind of silly. Especially since, while the stage doesn't give much in the way of points, it introduces enemies in specific areas that are dense enough that you can get the multipliers that you need. Not to say that the time limit isn't tight. Whew. I'm gonna stick around, don't long, just roam, talk to random streamers. That's fair! We still appreciate it. Understands to create more replayability. That's up to the player if it's a good choice. Yeah. And, like, tacking on a time limit isn't a bad idea. I just feel like they did the wrong approach for some of these missions. Because it's like, oh, hey, you have a time limit, but we're grading you on score instead. Oh, hey, you have a basic mission for, let's say, Sonic here, which these stages aren't all that long anyway. And you're not graded based on your time to completion, but on your score. And that by itself just does not sit right with me mentally. It's weird. Ah. It's like if you took a game for speedrunners, and rather than focus on the time in which it took you to complete the stage, you graded the person based off of the amount of lives they spent. Read the amount of times they perished in the stage to get to that fast time. It just feels wrong. Holy mutt! What does that mean? Why are those bombs so big? I can see for fucking miles. Ah! Okay, you got insta-boomers. Good to know, good to see, good to hear. Still don't impress me much. Whoa! They still have that there. Why? I mean, I guess it is in an alcove pathway that the average person isn't gonna see, but even then, it's not like it's that out of the way. Oh, fuck! Did that in the newer Hitman games. Here's a timer, go nuts. But it means nothing to your score. Like, it would make sense if there was a separate medal, and yes, this is my inner masochist talking, for not just completing a stage fast, but also a separate medal for completing it without, with a high score. So in other words, 2 separate ranks. Does that make sense in the grand scheme of Sonic? No. Whew. But comparatively speaking, the original intent for Sonic games is supposed to be, like, younger children. As I mean, it doesn't appeal to anyone older. Cough. I also don't understand why the lock-on doesn't hit these in hard mode, but it does in normal. Am I just not aiming it the right way? It could be as simple as that, I don't know. Whew. Ah. There's a large explosion. Okay, so these just rotate every so often. I thought I timed that correctly. Never saw a kid with a Nintendo Path. And that's fair, that's respectable. Honestly, while I did grow up with a Dreamcast, sorry, not Dreamcast, sorry. I grew up with a Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive in EU. But not long after that, we transitioned over to the GameCube, so I did get a bit of Mario, not too much. Mostly Smash Bros. And a lot of Kirby Air Ride, thinking about it. A lot of Kirby Air Ride. Kept with Nintendo for most of my life, up until more recently when Switch was just no. well, hard no for me because A, price point, B, fragility. I like a durable controller. Not that I'm rough with mine, just I prefer things that last. And all I needed to hear from Nintendo Switch was Joy-Con drift to be like, I'm out. I've been PC ever since. Good. Two, three. Now for this part, which I hate. Good. Take a breath. Got it. Started with an Atari. Ooh. Atari had some good ones. Never really got to experience any of them, but hey, I do a bunch of research on games every so often, and a good chunk of them look very fun and, for the time, definitely innovative. Okay. We might be able to clear Tails today if I'm diligent. It all depends on how I do with these. I just keep my wits about me and get as high a lock on enemies as I can. Woo! You should get there. Oh, I didn't realize that blew up! I didn't hit the enemy in there, did I? Oh, fuzzy. Actually, it's a switch. Oh, fuzzy. Oh, Machao getting sucked off into the absolute Nile. Game like protection. Don't need that. Okay, now I need that switch because I'm a little bit foobar. Why did I go back for that? I'm such a dummy! I wasted 30 seconds just walking back for what I should have remembered was just a Chabox. Supposedly raccoons have good memory. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. What happened there? I might need to restart. Oh, that grinds my gears. Why did I do that? What hit me? Next game. Preach. Gotta dip back here, get the switch. Break that. String. Oh, really? I can kind of make some of it up. Just need to be good about it. Mass murder. Can feel the frustration. Oh, what the? I turned away and I get. Ooh. I'm just getting clumsy. Hatred. Iron. It's fine. Surprisingly, this hasn't been the most frustrating thing I've experienced all day. I just finished Route 101. And that stage is a bitch for A ranks. Imagine a racing stage where you're not allowed to hit the walls. It's maddening. Hit a wall? Oops. Guess what? You're going back all the way back to the beginning of the course. And it's like a 3-minute straight line. You butthole. This just screams bad idea. Doing it anyway. We got a 10 lock, but oh well, I don't care. Well, not that much. That, on the other hand, I do care about. Oh dear. Please make it. The camera isn't really your best friend in this game. Yay! At least on the racing stages, the camera is somewhat kind to you, mostly. Oh, come now. Okay, this is the long drop, which I'm gonna need to hit a good chunk of the enemies here. Shit. It's fine. Because this last section is a freebie. We got it. We need to use the words mostly or I lost me the argument on it. Like, it isn't necessarily the camera that's the issue, that's the issue for Route 101, or at least for the walls section. It's the track itself having full-on wide turns or even 180 turns that you need to do. I think the 180 turns are the egregious part of it. And apparently there's tech in the stage too, where like, if you're power sliding while you're going down a hill, you get to have the increased speed of a boost and maintain it. Which, it's kind of bullshit, that's the mechanic. As usual in these older games, they don't explain shit to you. So you kind of have to puzzle it out on the fly. That did not touch me, game! Okay, that did touch me, game. 100 ring mission. Not much that we can do to optimize the route on this one. We're just gonna need to book it. I don't think you need to beat the enemies in this section to move on, so that's good. I always forget this damn switch. Can I miss that with games holding your hand? Fair. Honestly, same. I do feel like we've hit a point where games get over-tutorialized. Fuck you, game. A good chunk of the zeitgeist with gaming as a culture has become, hey, assume that your game is going to be the first one that person ever plays. But at the same rate, the answer to that ends up being hit/agreed upon is, okay, then we'll just put bake tutorials into the game. Way back when, you used to have to read a manual to look at things, and then slowly people started deciding, hey, I don't like reading manuals, and by that, I also mean that developers decided, well, studios rather, decide to try to cut costs by decreasing the amount of things that cost money. Excuse me? Excuse me? What the fuck? Sure, just hit the death plane. That makes sense. That makes sense. Fuck you, game. Hit the death plane. It doesn't die from the vacuum of space. That sounds like good game design. That sounds like duct tape to me. I like breaking games. I'm sure I probably come off as pissed every so often, but I absolutely love breaking games. I get a perverse pleasure out of it. Right, game design as a whole. My stance on it is, if you put a tutorial every 5 seconds into your game, you've done it wrong. Encourage people to experiment. Yes, it's fine to give them some tutorials, at least for like basic controls of the game and whatnot, and make them interactive, but don't overly hold their hand. And second, always offer at the start of a game an option to the person, is this your first time playing a game? And if you click no, then they should let you skip all of the tutorial bullshit. The amount of games that I've seen do this, I could count on one hand, which it's saddening. I feel like that's the best way to go about it. Make the tutorial optional, tuck it away into a side corner, where if the player wants to look at it, they can. But if they don't have to. Don't tie anything to the tutorial. No achievements, no extra clear rewards, nothing. Maybe it's an odd perspective on that one. As long as it's not in your face. Yeah, I fully understand that not everyone learns the same way. I'm a behaviorist. So looking at things like zeitgeist and how people do things is something that I do on the regular. At least that I've seen, people don't like a obtrusive tutorial, and I'll agree with you there. That's why one of the easier ways to just make sure it's not obtrusive is to make it optional. It's a simple thing to do. A yes or no switch at the start of the game, and tying all the tutorials to that, all of the basic tutorials to that yes or no switch. You gotta be kidding. Also don't like games that adjust difficulty based on your skill. That's fair that's honestly fair too. Adaptive difficulty is something that some people like because they I'll be simple, not everyone in it is as adept as everyone else. It's the reason why difficulty modes exist. But at the same rate, some of us like getting whipped in the face with a challenge. Everyone gets their motivations to play a game from different locations. For some, it's the challenge. For others, it's being able to see the story through completion. For still others, it's fucking around with the game's code and figuring out what they can and can't do.
Wow.
And yes, I understand the argument of not every game is meant for every person. That's why there are so many that exist. Exactly. If you want it easier, you'll lower the game's difficulty yourself. You won't let the game do it for you, which some games will offer if they see you're getting hit in the face a few too many times. Which, I fully understand it. Sometimes a person gets stonewalled on the difficulty and wants a slight decrease in it just to make it a little more bearable. But at the same rate, I'll probably agree with you in that maybe something that games should offer is whether or not they offer the option to decrease the difficulty. Let the person flail and figure it out. Maybe offer a hint if they ask for it. And maybe that's part of the reason why I end up liking how puzzle games design themselves. Or rather, probably Professor Layton. Where it's like, oh hey, here's a puzzle. We'll give you all the tools you need to solve it. It's down to you and your wits to figure it out. If you want a hint, sure, but you're gonna need to do something else first in order to get that hint. And the hint isn't going to give you the solution to the puzzle either. You still need to figure it out. You still need to show that you can do this. Now for the artificial chaos bullshit. Exactly. Part of the reason why games exist is because, hey, we want to do something fun, but it's also a great way of teaching skills. And the only way you get better about something is by getting better at it. Flailing and failing until you eventually get used to it. I can argue that this has just become a societal problem, where the zeitgeist of our current society has become, oh hey, everything is so easy to get, so I don't need to put in as much effort. Ergo, there's less incentive for me to learn or want to learn. I can just do, and it works. It's called complacency. But I'm gonna sound like an old man on this. I'm not. But I honestly feel like as much as the technology has helped us, it's also harmed us as well. It's made things that shouldn't have become easier, easier. And of course I say all this, and yet I would rather not have to go outside and chop down a bunch of trees for firewood and for heating. Just some things can be optimized by technology, not everything should be. It's also why I hate AI, because it is everything that I despise and don't stand for. Oh, but another gift sub. Thank you again for not just the conversation, but also helping Katakumo set up shop in Synapse. And as well, I hope you have a good day. Ow! Well, I get my face railed. Much preached, dude. Again, pleasure to meet you too, and I wish you the best. How the hell am I supposed to get past that? Freaking artificial chaos noodle. There's not really a way around that section, too. I'm gonna need to figure something out, because this section I've got down pat. Okay, I want to double check, make sure that there's nothing there. That's my fault. Need some tactic for getting past the artificial chaos. That's good. Okay, so just bull rush it. Got it. Whee! And there goes my one hit. Okay, good. 98. So close! Ugh! And I would have gotten the 100 in that section too. Okay, so I've got a tactic now. Bull rush it. Just bull rush it, get up in his face, tap him, and go. Full rush it. 3, 2, 1. Of course, my careful-ass playstyle just does not work. Fucking... I also can't believe it's 1 a.m. Or 1 p.m., sorry. Maybe I won't beat Tails after this, in this today. We came close though, but given Hungy, if I can manage this in the next like 5 attempts, we'll do the Chow mission and end it for the day. Making good progress though. I was expecting being stonewalled by Meteor Turd. When Meteor Turd and Route 101 together took up 2.5 hours, I wasn't expecting to get any more than that done. So honestly, I'm impressed. Almost forgot the switch again. Nice try. Good. That'll shave off some time. We'll rush it. Be good. Woo. $85. Hold. 98. There we go. Please be enough. Good. Has Sandy been destroyed yet? Surprisingly, we're making progress. That was a weird hiccup. What happened there, game? It couldn't contemplate that I got my 99th. And soon to be 100. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, the location of this one was a bit weird. I've never been hit by that bot. Ranky gets an A for adequate? Wow. Did I get up there at all? Here. Okay, then. I remembered the location, kinda. We can get there. I also forgot. I'm a dummy. Checkpoints. I need to take advantage of that more. Holy, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Made it. $100. 30,000, 3,500. Nah. We're not going to attempt the last 2 stages today. Another day. We are, however, going to take care of Chow quick. So, to everyone who's dropped by, thank you so much. We appreciate the support we get with these streams. Stick around, we'll have a raid set up shortly. Usual stream schedule, Fridays, Saturdays, 8 AM Eastern Standard to noon approximately. Fridays are game clearing. Saturdays, variety with the girls. Or myself, depends on who's available. If you miss any streams, don't worry, they stay up on Twitch for a couple weeks, we then chunk them down, port them to a YouTube channel. Or at least for the, this one, we're definitely gonna have to chunk them down, because otherwise it's gonna be unwatchable. Yeah, that should be enough. Racks, unfortunately, don't give much in stats. I'm just asking for 1 tick. Good. Let's see here. We've got Dick Sword, exclamation mark. Dick Sword gets you that link. I'm also part of several other Discords like Taunus's Ravenhaven Theater, Oxon's Oxen Associates, etc., etc. As a final item, I also do a bunch of drawing and writing in my spare time. It's in various places. Ooh, watermelon! I'm not interested. Now, I admit, I don't necessarily have to go immediately to Rouge after this, but at the same rate, I figure it's inevitable that we're gonna have to get to her. Let's just get it out of the way. But before that, Nakamura. My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist mature. And we're back with more Sonic Adventure 2 Hell, this time with Tails. Because we've still gotta do a couple more missions. Ow. I believe our score requisite this time around is 5 minutes. It is 30,000 points in 5 minutes. There's a review on why this is a bit on the difficult side. Because we lack checkpoints, we lose out on a lot of score bonuses that we normally be able to get. This means we've got to get creative. By creative, I mean be willing to ratchet up our combo game. It might be a bit slow, but let's see what happens. Yep, that's not gonna work. In unrelated news, we got a plushie yesterday. Just came in the mail, and been looking forward to it. Macy, I like my plushies. I give my life, not for honor, not for you. I'm still in a dream, plush eater. Plush eater. Mom's already commented that I may have as many as my sister at this point. I like plush. Not to mention, Makeshift has surprisingly good quality. I think the one thing that I can strike against the Macy plushie here is her shield is literally just a hard piece of felt. Nothing more detailed than that. Maybe I was expecting something slightly different, but honestly, if that's the only thing that I have a problem with, then I'm good. What? Okay, that's a new one. I didn't even know that could happen. Also, on the editing side of things, I think our duct tape meter is now at 75. And if today is anything to go by, it's probably just gonna keep growing. Oh, come now. How am I missing a jump? I guess for whatever reason, my coordination's off today. Hello, Lossie. How you doing? Did I not get the score bonus on that? Oh, you... Well, in the worst case, if I end up being out by 1,000 points, now I know. Bloodwork again to test for low iron and B12. I'm crossing fingers for you, dude. In the worst case, low iron and B12 is fixable. Ah! Of course, assuming you are fine with adding more meat to the diet, which, again, you're a raptor. You probably like that anyway. Get up the damn... Like all sorts of coordination failures. Speaking of coordination failure, ooh. Jeez. Come on. Come on. Okay. I need to book it to the end fast because I don't think I'm gonna make it otherwise. I'm gonna be cutting it close. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna make it anymore. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, what? Because I've still got the vertical shaft here. Blow open a hole in the thing. Got it. So don't spend too much time fucking around. That's a new challenge. Spent a little too much time on a joyride. Oh, fuck me. I suppose also on the list of things that I've been doing in the BG. Woo. Assembling more of the rack deck with new additions as a result of the newest expansions for Magic the Gathering. Hashtag shameless plug, man. There have been some good stuffs for both red and green lately. So I figure, hey, let's make a couple of edits to the deck. Because I'm starting to incorporate a small play from exile strategy, a mini strategy. I'm sure there are many other decks that take advantage of units like Nilfijni, but even still. Also to that end, I decided to buy a few packs of the latest set as well. So that will be my reward, potentially, for a little later. Assuming this round of attempts goes well. What? Hello, Tara. How you doing? Apparently I'm failing today. I wasn't prepared for, bad reflex day, apparently. I'm also apparently not prepared for redeems going south. Okay, so the usual issue of why is this still disconnecting randomly? There we go. All things normal now. Right, I think I've made enough edits to the rack deck now that I can officially have a sideboard, just in case some of the cards turn illegal for whatever reason. Let's be honest, there are also a few cards in there that I'm not even sure if they're gonna be illegal in the first place, right? Because I know for 2 bits of control as a just-in-case measure, I did put in Veil of... I think it was called Veil of Gemstone. Just, there's a card that says, hey, each player, when they start their turn, must declare a color, and all of their lands tap to that single color, even if they normally wouldn't. And they only tap to that single color, which for my rack deck isn't much of a penalty, because I'm only going to be required to cast units from 2 colors anyway, either red or green. And I don't mind having to alternate between them just to make my plays if I need to. I can pivot. Most other decks can't. Or I feel like a good chunk of other decks can't pivot as easily without having to compromise a lot of their strategy in the process. Yes, I've also grabbed the Blood Moon just in case. The standard basic land check. What am I tripping on? Like, there's no platform there. What am I tripping on? I'm making the joke in this, I'm making a song joke yet again for the title, but it's based on Rouge, not you, Tails. Flying the Freedom is Rouge's theme, not yours. You're not supposed to be flying in the freedom of gravity. Yeah, tripping on a rat, maybe. Hello, Blue, how you doing? How's the adorable Hans? What? Currently streaking. Get some clothes on, Blue. Or don't, up to you. That's 40. 40 days without a shirt. Woo! Shield's gonna help. That'll be all of 10 seconds that I have it. No, seriously, like, what am I tripping on? What is this bullshit? Is there a hidden rail I'm missing or something? Did someone grease the underside of Tails' vehicle? Who do I need to pay off? Whose dick do I need to suck? Or vagina I need to lick? This is getting egregious. Shit. I'm perishing in the same goddamn locations. Okay, why are you locked down to the other bombs? Good. Skip a couple of enemies here and there. Specifically because there's a lot of the stage to travel through. That'll make it. There we freaking go. Now, is that so hard, game? Evidently. Okay, the score this time is drastically less, so I'm getting to be a bit more gung-ho. Shit. Ah, come on. And of course, because it didn't finish the combo, I don't get the points for that. But I need to... I don't necessarily need to hit everything along the way. There's a lot of leeway for this stage. Good. Good to hear, Tara. Anything, I just need to survive the drop here. Choke at the end. There we go. Ugh. That should hit our mark. Yep. 101 emblems. Which looks a lot like Tails. I mean, we still need to finish Tails. To which, we have one more mission to go. How you doing, Leica? Fair. You and Attic are finished with your current semester, I believe. Attic's gonna be on a 5-month vacation, apparently. Hey. Right. How you doing, Lux? Oh, shoot, now you're up. Wow. Damn it, Nameless.
Master's 50,000 dissertation due in September. Does it require academic rating?
Okay, then. So that works out for you, then.
Kid having to write master's releases on.
Okay, subject. That's something. Various eggies. Not much interesting. Actually, there is a couple things interesting in the fruits here, but even then. Okay, hard mode. 35,000 points. How are they gonna ruin me with this? I mean, already the enemies are firing a little faster. That's standard for hard mode. What the? Laser turret? Okay, that's a new variant of that enemy. And suddenly I'm worried. But I can at least take my time. I can no longer take my time. Oh dear.
Ah!
It's a minefield. Okay. And let me guess. Still gotta deal with the switch here? No. Oh, they just moved the switch. Why?
Mixture sugars and surfactants. Ooh.
Flat! Ox with the 32 inches. Thank you for continuing to set up shop in Synapse. Additionally, how you doing? How's our favorite wolf baby? Okay, so they shrunk these platforms down. That don't impress me much. Oh fuck! No! I guess that doesn't prove me much. Apologies, I wanted to borrow a line just this once from Mayoshi. Ah! I haven't watched Elliot in quite a long time, but even still. What do you mean, sweaty?
Got a new monitor mount.
Hardware. Nice. I don't want to get PC mouse pad. It's gonna be one of those button mouse pads, isn't it? I'm joking, but something cheeked up on Lycaon. Those are very small platforms. Oh, no. Oh, honey. I mean, yeah, it's small, but it's supposed to be that fun. Really? A little bit salty about that one. Just random camouflage beetle. Okay, game. I see how it is. I see how you're masquerading the challenge this time around. But no, seriously, a specific mouse pad in mind, dogs?
Asking for opinions.
Okay. To note, I don't really have a desk. I've been gaming out my bed because I stretch my leggies. Really? What? Really? I feel like the challenge on this is just cheap shots at this point. Just get Becky to stand there at a monitor. Would it be vain to think about a Reki-shaped monitor holder? It might be. Hello, Nucky. How you doing? We've been cutting sport. I probably should take it slower. Ah! How you doing? Not dead yet. Mood and a so far, workable. My legs function. I'm able to do my work, mostly. And by the sound of it, we're gonna be getting our fourth caseworker back in the office on Monday. So that means that we'll be, hopefully, knock on wood and anything homologous to it, right as rain going forward. We'll see what happens. But at least for now, there's potential that I'll have only a 7 to 8 person caseload. After a point, potential is enough for me. You gotta be kidding me! I made that jump!
It's been struggling on our surfactants and monoclonal.
Surfactant, it is a lubricant, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've looked at anything pharmacy related. The two things that come to mind are the lubricant in the... Actually, yeah, one thing that comes to mind is the lubricant in the lungs. I remember it being called surfactant. Specifically, it's to prevent it from, like, the tissues from running against themselves and causing issues. Oh, come on! How to make this hell? Answer, gravity. I mean, it's not even gravity at this point. It's just the game going, hey, you know this surface that's supposed to be a platform? Guess what? It's not going to operate as a platform temporarily.
God,
Why is it that one again? That is some precision, Leica. Shit.
Supersecting chemical typically changes the energy between two phases, like soap screws with water tension.
What? What flew? As for monoclonal, I want to say that's like a single variation of something. Ah! Come on! Tails!
Lab-created antibody-like molecule.
Got it. Apologies, we're very fascinated by the sciences. Frick!
Also, almost had play instead of okay because...
Ah! Edge. That was close. Not gonna lie, smaller platforms are fucking me up a bit. 9. Don't touch that. If anything, I might have enough points if I can just clear the stage normally. Because if I just need to hit 35,000, I just need to be reasonably careful. About getting through this segment of this stage. Fuck you! Ugh! I'm bitter about that one. Almost. That was pretty much the end of the stage. It was gonna be free going from there. See, this is why I hate artificial chaos as a conceptualized entity. Like, it makes sense in the grand scheme of this. Because, hey, it's Gerald Robotnik's earliest prototype sort of thing. He is experimenting with all sorts of ancient technology and everything, and artificial chaos is one of the first forms of life in the Sonic universe. There is theory that Chaos and Chao are one and the same. Just Gerald Robotnik's trying to create the ultimate life form and everything. So of course he's going to try to replicate older life forms to try to understand them. But do these older life forms have to repel every single shot in the known universe?
Spam a green and a red to play Ricky Barter Brambles. Then tap Smart Facts for 7 to play Wall Bossing Suh.
How you doing, Arch? Actually, thanks for the reminder. I get to talk about this a little bit. So, speaking of raccoons, some of y'all on the Discord might have noticed I've been taking it upon myself to iterate on the Rex of Bloomborough in my own way. Because if there's one thing that I don't fuck, it's a raccoon, certainly.
Printed the Sand Wiki back in the middle school.
Right. In the BG. Partially because it had taken a while for me to get back up to speed on caseload and everything. Oh god damn it, like also Pog the Pog Arch. Rex are adorable. If anyone says otherwise, you are wrong. De facto. But no, if there's one thing that I don't like about Bloomborough, and specifically the raccoons, actually technically also the squirrels too. A good lot of the designs are, oh hey, funny animal in clothing. And that just rubs me a specific way wrong. Because, like, you have this entire multiverse of fantastical elements, and you choose not to do semi-anthropomorphic animals? Why not? It's, like, right there. It's in front of you. Fuck. Thanks, Leica. It's right in front of you. Right for the taking. There are furries on your staff. Guaranteed, Watson. Why did you not go in that direction? You already have your kitties with the Johnny and whatnot. And Baka. Etc. Etc. But they didn't go... But with all of that, they didn't decide, oh hey, anthropomorphized animals for Bloomborough, the world of anthropomorphized animals. It's so annoying. And on top of that, it's not just funny animal and clothing design. It's the fact that the vast majority of the raccoons that they're using are the same color. It's the same gray raccoons over and over and over again, and it bothers me. Gray raccoon, green shirt. Gray raccoon, green shirt. There could have been a lot more diversity in the character design. So I decided, fuck it, I'll do it myself. I will be the change I want in the world. So here, have multicolored raccoons. It looks better that way. Green Wreck, gray shirt. Oh, that would piss me off. Answer Ox. I'm partially prattling a little bit, as I do. Like, I was on a tangent on, hey, expanding the Raccoon's deck that I have IRL. And then I figure, hey, I'll talk about the art project I'm doing. What am I doing wrong with the platforming there?
Yeah, Magic the Gathering. And be right back, need to use the bathroom quick.
Of course you're gambling, Ox. You know, you can gamble with your friends. What other bumper exists that we can head pat? Ox doesn't count. She's a hybrid of everything under the sun. And she's also gambling.
And catching up with chat quick, still need to update Bella deck with Wall of Bossing Suh. Barely went Battle Nuggles and Lorwyn. Godzilla cards, best the type of frame that would work best, giving names to the various racks. I will do that. Auntie's going to Fiji. Can you take us with you, Ox? I've always wanted to sacrifice virgins into a volcano. I mean, I'm going to Fiji twice.
Right, so far with the what I'm now dubbing Project Alt Rack as a joke on Alt Rock. There's Reki to the volcano. Wah! Currently, we are at 4 remastered, I want to say, with sketches of at least 2 more already. I just need to have a moment to sit down and color. Well, you know, digitally line and color. Because Muera exists. My Alt Muera already exists.
Go drink while you're on the loo.
I didn't say too much. Don't worry, like. I'm calling this Project Alt Rack as a joke on Alt Rock. Because, you know, Rack Rock. And Racks know how to do only one thing, and that is fling. Well, fling themselves. Alright. Stay safe, Mom.
Yeah, the Hard Wreck Cafe.
Shit. If I do make alt cards for, like, Innkeeper's talent and whatnot, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Put Muera in a maid dress and a Hard Rack Cafe logo. That would look funny. Give her a bit of embarrassment blush sticker.
6 shooter starts with bullet counter, remove all but 1 counter, else add 1 bullet.
Huh. Interesting. Chances are I'll probably conclude Project Alt Rack by making a proper MTG variant of Sage and Zinnia. I already have the idea in mind for what I want it to do. Because if there's anything I've noticed about going Rack Stompy, there are 3 weaknesses to the deck. A, card draw. You don't draw much. To which there's the Cast from Exile tactic that I'm putting in secondary. B, it's a standard fight deck. C, it, as much like most other decks, loses out to white and blue pretty handedly. So what if you had a rack that gave you protection from instants?
Mr. Ricky's saying they want to sacrifice emergency volcano.
I mean, that too.
Tribal decks in general suffer from board wipes.
Racks can have a bit of resistance to some types of board wipes, specifically because a good lot of their expend effects are banner effects. So, hey, you expend a certain amount of mana, guess what? You pump all your units, or you pump that specific unit. But I figured one of the better ways to just circumnavigate a good lot of the issue is, hey, here's a rack where when you expend a certain amount, all of your racks get protection from instants for the end of, until the end of the turn. And of course, because it's Blake, a shapeshifter, because, you know, Iota, we take whatever form we need to. And B, transforming unit. So at expend 8, Sage becomes Zinnia, and when Zinnia's specific ability triggers after the end of the turn, she goes back to being Blake, or Sage.
Land that steals opponent
Artifacts per turn. That exists. I'm certain that exists.
Just play Debtor's Knell or Faith Reward as anti-white.
Good. What? Hit me?
I didn't make a response for it yet, but
I'd be down for another bout of magic later.
oh, good for you.
Fuck you, game! Come on!
Actually, yeah.
Red-green.
Actually, no, that can work. Deals combat damage, gain control of all artifacts at beginning of upkeep. If you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game.
Oh, yeah, that is its own. That's effectively a win con. That Hellkite in an artifact deck is effectively a win con. Just assemble the Dragon Sword.
Let's see. Anti-wipe tech listed. Debtor's Knell or Faith Reward.
That's white. The Faith's Reward is white, so I can't use that. Debtor's Knell is Kyoto, so I also can't use that.
Mishra artifacts, white, black, and forth.
Yeah, so neither of those are helpful for me. I did try experimenting with a... there was this artifact that exists, I believe, which is like, oh hey, if you cast a spell on your turn, no one can interact with you for the rest of the turn. But given how that would have to be used, it would mean I would need to rely on a lot of instants, and that doesn't gel well with Rule specifically, because I want to have creatures on you. And there isn't really much in red and green that get flash. While it is cool to proc expend on opponents' turns, which you can do, it's impractical. Or at least I feel like it's impractical.
Oh, Luger, Topi, counter deck. Oh, jeez.
Snipe. Shit, why did I do that again?
Exile an artifact you control, search deck for it. I mean, it works for you. Last deck, you made Ruik, Rocket Target, and Grumgully? Let's see, Vivian, Champion of the Wild.
Okay, so so that can work at times.
And if anything, the -2 ability isn't that bad either, because you could effectively
fetch one specific creature that you might need, and it also gets exiled, so that way you can proc things from exile like the Nalthejni. I already have Rhythm of the Wild, but that by itself isn't enough protection at times, or at least from my own minor testing. Rhythm of the Wild just says, hey, you cast a creature, it can't be countered. But it doesn't mean that it can't be like Swords of Plowshare or Beast Within. Maybe I'm approaching things too much from a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, where Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of generic Omni-Negates for a lot of situations, which itself isn't necessarily a great design decision. I just want to be able to play my Rack Stompy and enjoy it. Maybe have a chance at winning. But then again, the moment a single person plays blue and or control, there's no chance at all. Yeah, Bossing can be useful and everything, and there are ways to flip its defense into attack power, but it will lose guaranteed to a single Beast Within. Don't need to worry about that 0-30 anymore if it's suddenly a 3/3 Beast. And if anything, that kind of illustrates my point, too, on why I'm looking for good protection. Because what does it matter if I can flood my board with 12/12 attackers if I need to, if I lose any single one of them to a single card? And yeah, I guess the generic answer would be just play around it. And part of my issue on that is because I've had so little experience with Magic, knowing how to play around it is the issue. I'm drastically under-practiced. And that's at least partially my own fault, because I have a working MTG simulator right there. It's called Arena. And I'm choosing not to use it because other players scare me.
Everson's Memorial, Boltbound. If your deck plays red, Hexing.
Actually, thanks for the recommendation on that one, Tara. I did find that one, and I do have it in the deck. Hexing Squelcher just felt like a great idea, because, hey, Ward pay 2 life means that after a point, the enemy can't do shit because they can't pay the tax. It was also the same reason why I was looking at Blood Moon and Veil of Gemstone, because both of those are effectively and I hate to use the word because it's poison for us TCG players, it's a floodgate. Blue and black both don't really like playing anything other than modular lands. So right there from the get-go, Blood Moon will immediately stonewall it at least a little bit, because suddenly all of their lands become mountain.
Blood Moon stick is big.
Exactly. And Veil of Gemstone does something similar, where it says, oh hey, at the start of every turn, every player has, at the start of each player's turn, they have to declare a single color, and all of their lands can only tap for that color. Fuck you, game!
Okay, Blue, just run Boiling Seas.
I mean, yeah, that's an option too. Destroy all islands. And I already have a boom burst in the deck too. If not sideboard.
Lapse in Quicksilver Fountain.
And then I guess we get to yet another part of the issue of, after a point, I feel like 100 cards just isn't enough for this tactic, for the tactics I want to do, and it's difficult for me picking and choosing which cards to put in and which cards to take out. In other words, I'm just very bad at deck building. At some point, I'm probably just gonna need to have someone take a look at the, what is now my version 3 of Rax. See what I'm doing right or wrong, if anything.
Everything becomes wastes.
Oh god. But the problem with that is, I still need colored mana. And if I get outed at any point, then suddenly I lose that. Suddenly I lose my ability to recover. But then again, Rule also just has that problem, period. Outside the single thrust, you kinda
Have a problem.
Is it weird that I'm looking at Gruul and thinking, hey, let's just do a control deck now? How the fuck would Gruul control even work? Hold it. I decide to hold. Uah. Okay, good. That shit.
That was close. Green-red does have one counter spell within a fight, and a big stick. Maybe you could work something with bullying or recursion. The Blood Moon on a stick, Magus of the Moon. Non-basic lands or mountains.
Creature. Actually, that could work too. Because that plus Rhythm of the Wild means a uncounterable Blood Moon. Up until the point that they decide, hey, enough. Also, I think I hit the score requisite. Ooh, that was close. Made it. Ugh. We're talking Commander. Because for Standard, honestly, I don't need too much, and what I've got currently for Arena just feels like a rushdown deck.
Don't necessarily counter spells for control. Con Standard, pretty evil of Mardu control.
Well done.